Have you ever been angry at God? I have. My mom was supposed to spend my 52nd birthday with me in South Louisiana where we were living. We had to postpone her trip because she twisted her knee, but I thought, no big deal. She'll be here at Mother's Day. Instead, on my 52nd birthday, she died. She died alone. She died unnoticed for 3 days, and she died of the long-term effects of alcoholism. And I was upset with God. Despite all the chaos and violence that I grew up in, despite the abuse that my mom actually allowed my brother and I to witness and to some degree to experience, I desperately loved my mom. She was bright, she was funny, she was tenacious. And when she would visit on her yearly trips to South Louisiana, we had so much fun when she wasn't drinking, exploring the South Louisiana countryside. We ate the local cuisine. We wandered in and out of antique shops. We even made friends with a lady who raised fighting roosters. I think that might be the only place in the country where they still do that. I don't know for sure. And then she mortified me by going to a rooster fight. Of course, she had to mortify me. She loved doing that because she knew that I went to church and yada, yada, yada. So that was one of her favorite things to do. In fact, another thing she did once was go into a porn shop on Bourbon Street just to annoy me. And it did. But I loved her. She had so many good traits. But she was an alcoholic. And in the end, it took her. I prayed for my mom for 33 years. Why, Lord? Why did this happen? I knew she probably wasn't going to recover at that point, but couldn't I have been there? You made ways for me to be there with her before when she needed me. I just assumed that when it was her time, I was going to be there. I was going to hold her hand. I was going to try to make her comfortable. And I was going to say goodbye. But that prayer didn't get answered. When I got to the funeral home, I knew it would be the last time I would see her physically. I knelt beside her. I told her I forgave her for falling short as a mother, and I asked her to forgive me for all of the times that I had failed her as a daughter. I told her I loved her and that I was going to miss her so much. Then I kissed her on the forehead, and it was so cold. And then I left. We had a beautiful funeral. We settled her estate, but I was still upset. Why did you take her like that, Lord? Couldn't I have had at least a heads up? My spiritual director wisely told me, Sally, you have got to surrender your mom to the Lord's care. Because that's where she is now, with him. You've got to let go. So I gritted my teeth, and I remember standing in my bedroom crying, tears streaming down my face, holding on to my alma, saying, Lord, I choose to forgive you for taking my mom unexpectedly, and I choose to surrender her into your care. Now that's an odd thought, to forgive God, isn't it? Because we know he's perfect, so why does he need forgiveness? But somehow those words came out of my mouth, and I thought, in my own broken understanding, I just needed to say it so I could release it and just not be held by the anger. And I've seen since then prayers that say to forgive God, even though it doesn't make sense. It's a way for us as humans to release any resentment and unanswered questions. So I said that prayer over and over and over again. And it took some time, but eventually I began to feel a sense of peace. One morning, right before I woke up, I had a dream. The phone rang. I picked it up. Hello? Hi, honey, it's me. She said it was my mom. And I was just, oh my goodness, filled with such a sense of relief. I said, Mom, you're alive. You're alive. I thought you died. She said, I'm doing very well. And her voice was so strong. It was so young. And the next question I had was, did you talk to Dave? That was my brother, and I wanted to be sure that he knew that she was okay too. And she said, I just got off the phone with him. And then I woke up. And it was one of those times when I had to pinch myself because it was so real. That dream was so real. And I had kind of asked the Lord for a sign, but then I said, yeah, the Bible says you're not supposed to ask for a sign. So, yeah, but if you want to give me a sign, Lord, I wouldn't really care. And I believe that's what he did. I learned a lot from my mom's death. I learned how precious life is. I learned the immeasurable value of a soul. But most of all, I learned that he's faithful. Even when everything my eyes see tell me otherwise. My name is Sally New, and I'm a Christian life coach. I work with women who need healing from the effects of growing up in an alcoholic or addict home, and also with women who are living with an active addict or alcoholic. And we work to develop boundaries that are doable, healthy, and promote family peace. And we focus on recovery-oriented solutions. So I'd love it if you'd reach out to me. Click the link below, and you will have access to a document that will walk you through a 3-step process and just help you release anything that's bothering you. You were never meant to walk this journey alone. It would be my honor to partner with you as you do so. Leave me your prayer intentions in the comments, and I'll be back soon. Bye, guys.